Every single day, thousands of people launch new brands on social media, but 99% of them will vanish into the noise because they're chasing the dopamine hit of viral metrics instead of building for the long term. Iconic brands operate on an entirely different timeline. They are the result of a specific, decades-long psychological life cycle that most creators never even consider. When you look at a massive billion-dollar empire today, the polished end state obscures the raw, counterintuitive mental engine the founder had to rely on back on day one. True empire building demands a psychological crucible, a journey beginning with a period of deliberate, high-stakes irrationality. The mandatory entry fee for this phase is delusional self-belief. Michael Jordan famously took his high school rejection personally, using the heartbreak as the exact fuel he needed to come back 10 times stronger. Belief must immediately convert into unglamorous daily execution. Casey Neistat famously filmed, edited, and posted a vlog for 800 days straight, utilizing the same 24 hours we all have to maintain a ruthless commitment to his craft. This graph shows the mathematical reality of that consistency. If you get 10% better with every rep, you don't grow at a steady linear pace. By the 100th rep, you have actually become over 13,000 times better. Mr. Beast's early numbers track this curve perfectly. He spent years obsessing over his craft while stuck at 20 subscribers, trusting his exponential growth would trigger if he kept betting the farm. Successful brand building starts by ignoring unscalable results and focusing entirely on the daily obsessive reps. Between the 3 and 10-year mark, the initial excitement of launching inevitably fades. You enter the trough of sorrow, where the threat of total failure becomes a daily reality. Most entrepreneurs collapse here because they expect a smooth ride. High expectations are the primary killer of resilience. If you aren't prepared for the struggle, the first major setback will break you. Surviving this period requires what Jensen Huang calls pain and suffering. In 1995, NVIDIA almost went out of business, forcing Huang to mortgage his own house just to keep the lights on, while the rest of the world saw zero potential in his company. This level of operational pain forces a founder to find the kernel of genius in their business. It actively burns away unsustainable models and leaves behind only the most efficient, resilient version of the brand. Founders use these deepest challenges to stress test the organization, refining the brand's character until only its most resilient traits remain. Once a brand finds traction, the external noise peaks. Paradoxically, the moment you have the largest audience is the moment you must start ignoring their feedback and shut the world out. Legendary producer Rick Rubin argues that the audience must always come last. Relying on focus groups or market trends destroys the original, authentic weirdness that made your brand iconic in the first place. You defend that intuition through radical simplicity. While the rest of the industry was chasing the complex, multi-button design of the BlackBerry, Apple was moving in the opposite direction. Steve Jobs repeatedly forced his design team back to the drawing board to remove buttons. He trusted his own product intuition over customer surveys, eventually resulting in a buttonless interface that the market didn't even know it wanted. As an empire scales, its survival depends on the founder saying no to 97% of distractions to protect their internal signal. The end game of an iconic brand is rarely the traditional exit strategy or the permanent vacation. True icons pursue every game retirement, a psychological state where you are so fulfilled by the daily practice itself that you become entirely disconnected from the metrics. Jiro Ono has been perfecting sushi rice in a subway station for 70 years. Despite worldwide acclaim, he still views himself as a student, obsessed with the calling of the practice rather than the rewards of the success. This is the divide between an icon and an amateur. After decades of experience, the icon remains a student of the game, while the amateur is already looking for the door. The path to becoming an icon lies in choosing a calling you genuinely love, and committing to those daily reps for decades, ensuring you never break the chain.